I thought love could fix anything. But these 5 red flags were screaming the truth I refused to hear, and ignoring them nearly destroyed who I was. I wish I saw it sooner. For years, I told myself these weren't red flags. They were just relationship challenges. But looking back now, each one was a neon sign pointing to the emotional abuse I was living in. If you're watching this and something feels familiar, trust that feeling. Let me walk you through what I missed. The first red flag was the cycle of intense affection, followed by sudden coldness. At first, I thought it was just his personality, passionate and moody. In our first month together, he texted me constantly. Good morning messages, random, thinking of you, notes throughout the day, long phone calls every night. I felt seen, chosen, special. Then one day, it just stopped. 3 days of silence, no explanation. When I finally asked if something was wrong, he acted like I was being needy. He said, "I just needed space. Why are you making this a big deal?" That cycle repeated for years. Intense connection, then withdrawal. And every time, I blamed myself for not being patient enough. The second red flag was how he slowly separated me from my support system, but he made it sound like he was protecting our relationship. My best friend was having a birthday party 6 months into our relationship. I was excited to introduce him to everyone. 2 hours before we were supposed to leave, he said, "Do we really have to go? Your friends don't understand us. They're always judging me. Can't we just stay in, just the two of us?" And because I wanted him to feel comfortable, I canceled. Then it was my sister's dinner. Then my coworker's happy hour. One by one, my connections faded. And he'd say things like, "See? We don't need anyone else. We have each other." But what he really meant was, "I don't want you to have anyone else." If you've ever been told you're too sensitive or too needy for wanting connection, drop a comment below. You're not alone, and you're not wrong. I'd spend hours cooking his favorite meal, and he'd say, "It's good, but my mom makes it with less salt. Maybe try her recipe next time?" I'd get dressed for a date, and he'd say, "Are you sure you want to wear that? It's a little tight. I just want you to feel confident." At his family gatherings, he'd correct how I told stories. "That's not how it happened. You're remembering it wrong." Every correction felt small in the moment, but over time, I stopped trusting my own judgment. I'd ask him what to wear, how to cook, what to say. I'd erased myself trying to become whatever version he wanted. Hit the like button if you've ever questioned your own sanity in a relationship. I see you, and you're not imagining it. The fourth red flag, and this one nearly broke me, was the constant gaslighting. He'd rewrite history, and I'd start believing his version over my own memory. We'd have a fight where he'd say something cruel, something that cut deep. The next day, I'd bring it up, and he'd look at me with genuine confusion. "I never said that. You're twisting my words. Why are you always trying to make me the bad guy?" And I'd pull out my journal, where I'd written it down word for word, and he'd say, "You wrote that wrong. You always exaggerate everything." Eventually, I stopped trusting my own memory. I'd stand in front of the mirror after our fights, staring at myself, asking, "Am I crazy? Am I making this up?" That's what gaslighting does. It makes you doubt your own reality until his version is the only one that feels real. The fifth red flag was the cycle that kept me trapped. He'd hurt me, apologize beautifully, promise to change, and then do the exact same thing weeks later. After a particularly bad fight where he'd screamed at me in front of his family, he came to me in tears. "I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. You don't deserve that. I'm going to do better, I promise." And I believed him, because the apology felt so genuine. But 6 weeks later, same fight, same screaming, same tears afterward, same promise. For 2 years, this cycle repeated monthly like clockwork. And every time I'd think, maybe this time will be different. Maybe he really means it. But the pattern never changed. Only my tolerance for it grew. Which of these 5 red flags hit closest to home for you? Drop a number 1 through 5 in the comments. Let's talk about it. Looking back, these red flags were never subtle. I just wasn't ready to see them. If you're watching this and recognizing your own story, please hear me. You're not broken. You're not too sensitive. You're not imagining it. These patterns are real, and they're designed to make you doubt yourself. The moment I finally trusted my own reality over his version was the moment I got my life back. You deserve that freedom too. If this resonated with you, subscribe. I share stories about breaking free from toxic relationships every week, and drop a comment with which red flag you wish you'd seen sooner. Let's support each other through this.